Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a new guest, and her name is Chetna Nagar. She is a talent acquisition professional, a recruiter, a fitness and a nutrition expert as well, and she has been in recruiting for past 18 years. She does recruiting for multiple companies in tech domain, and has her hands on many technological recruitment such as machine learning, data science, and much more. Join us on this podcast and you will let to know everything that you have to do to get a job in tech domain in 2022 and move ahead. Let's get started. How was your journey? Where did you start? Let our audience know your story. And first of all, thanks for being on the podcast and your journey and your skills and wisdom would help a lot of candidates who are trying to get a job in this industry. And as Chetna is from Estrobees technology and she has been in recruiting industry for past 15 years and she has a lot of expertise in technologies of recruiting and especially the tech domain. Over the mic to you, Chetna. You can introduce yourself and speak more about you.
Yeah, thank you, Sundaraman, for this opportunity. I really appreciated that you think I'm an expert in recruiting, which I think I am, but nobody really formally acknowledged it. So I really appreciate this opportunity for me to talk to you and give some tips to candidates who are in the job market and could help. This could help in their search for their next dream job. So, quick introduction. My name is Chetna Nagar. My favorite job is I'm a mother of two kids. Uh, I have to mention that that is a full time job for me. But my second favorite job is recruiting. I have been in the IT recruiting field in the US for almost 17 years now. I do love helping people make their next career move and also make new connections in the process. So, just like you are a new connection for me, and I love doing this all these years. I also am a fitness instructor. That is also my passion. I love to teach and encourage people to follow a healthy lifestyle, and one of the ways to achieve it is exercise regularly. My journey started almost more than 16 years back. When I came to the US, I was in Northern Virginia, and IT industry is a big thing here for especially for the Indian community. So through I think I applied for a recruiter job. It was a junior role, and then I got it, and I really enjoyed it because it involved talking to a lot of people, learning new things. IT was brand new for me, but and I don't like the technical side of things, but I like to learn about what new technologies do, and help someone who's looking for a job to get the job that they want. I would help people in their resumes. I'll help people in, to give interviews because my background is in like writing and copywriting. So I enjoyed that part too. So that's a little quick introduction about me. And it's been 17 years. I still do recruiting, maybe not what I did 17 years back, but it's more like managing a recruiting team, dealing with clients, dealing with candidates too. So I'm still doing that 17 years now.
Yeah, is like a great time span of your entire life. How was your journey? What are the things that you picked up in this journey?
I picked up a lot of things. Initially, I didn't understand the technologies. So over the years, I really got good at understanding, what this means, what a developer does, what an analyst does, what a project manager does. It was a great learning experience for me. And then when I do recruiting, I just don't look for people like, oh, does this person have so skills in the job requirement? I go beyond that. I try to understand the candidate's personality and see if they are a good culture fit for the company. And at the same time, I try to understand what this person's goals are. Will this person be happy in this job? Or, maybe just take he or she takes it up and then leaves it for the next best opportunity. So over the years, I've learned to do that kind of an interview with candidates to make sure that not only my clients are happy, the hiring managers are happy, but also the candidates are happy with the job that they take up. So I've really grown that way as a recruiter, and I think it's really important that recruiters do that level of interviewing when they talk to candidates.
What is the mission of Estrobees technology and what is the vision that the company is having?
So Estrobees technology, we started it last November. It's fairly new, not even a year old. And apart from me, there are a couple of other people involved who have been in the IT industry for same time frame as me, like 15 plus years. So we are kind of experts in our area. But then working for other companies, we see that there is sometimes a disconnect. You want to fix that, but you probably have someone else to report to, so you cannot control a lot of things. So we wanted to create our own company with the best practices that we learned all these years and apply it with Estrobees. So, like I mentioned earlier, we don't not only think about our clients, but we also are huge advocates for candidates. We want them to have the best career, best job, stay happy in what they're doing. Make sure we check in with them regularly, make sure that they are learning in the process. We, support learning and development because, happy, ultimately, our client needs like their contractors or employees to be happy. Make sure that they are happy with their pay and every other benefit. That is a big goal for us. Apart from that, we also focused on more hiring on the diversity side, where there's more minorities and women and maybe people from the lower income who may not be able to access, like others in terms of what jobs are out there. Veterans also. We do want to help out that category of peoples. That's a big goal for Astrobase. We want to be not just another staffing company who wants to just place candidates and then forget about it, but be with them in their entire journey of while they're there with us.
You mentioned a thing about copywriting. You had a background in copywriting.
Yes.
How did that was useful in your recruiting domain? And do you think that copywriting is a skill that every recruiter should have?
No, they don't need to have, but I think reason I moved very quickly from a recruiter to sales and then having my own company and then back to recruiting is because I was like multi-skilled. So what I did with the copywriting piece is I helped candidates write resumes, but I also helped the my employer company I worked at that time write stuff in the website, your newsletters, and even creative ways to write your job posting because job postings are important. What candidates see while applying is important. So if you make it sound like, oh, this job is going to be fun for me, oh, this company is like a place there that I need to be because of the way they work or the way they, at least you have to portray that in that little snapshot that you put in the job description. So I use my creative head a little bit to make that attractive. I wouldn't say recruiters need that experience, but just think a little bit outside the box and try to make your ad stand out from the others because the job market is tight right now. How are you going to attract your candidates to your job? So you have to think a little bit outside the box. And I also have done, I mean, lately there's so much technology. I have done video job ads, which is, I think it's a great way, to attract candidates. So just be creative on that front.
or multiple skill level jobs that helped you build your own company and then move forward by helping the candidates in that terms as well.
Yes, that's correct.
How do you see or what do you see are the common misunderstandings about the interview in terms for a candidate?
Common misunderstanding. So a lot has changed in interviewing also, if you noticed. So, like I mentioned, people are looking for the overall personality. They don't care if you're 100% match to the skills they are looking for, and then you don't have like the other non non-technical or relevant skills. Like the whole personality matters. Nobody's 100% match, but they want someone who can learn stuff, who can be a team player, who's little modest, who are respectful, who are passionate. Most importantly, they want to see the passion in the from you. So all these things are really important, and I think everybody is looking for that these days, especially with a lot of people working remotely. They need people to have a well-rounded experience and not just one skill expert. So that has changed. That is the misconception that someone has, that, oh, I'm a subject level expert in so and so. But if this person, if it is not very eager to maybe be a part of a team or show some kind of red flags there, then I don't think people are going to hire you. So that's my take on interviewing.
About multiple skills versus solo skills or single skills. Go deeper on that.
Yeah, so I think the demand for single skill workers is diminishing very quickly, or maybe it already has. So hiring managers, I think last few years are looking for multi-skilled candidates. So my advice is like never stop learning. For example, you see cloud and cloud technologies, your AI, your ML, these are the latest things. But few years back, it was people were not on cloud. So you have to move with times. You have to learn what is in. First of all, find out what is in, and then learn that stuff, and then you're going to find success in your job hunt. Also, I think when people are working remotely, the expectation from the employers are that they do more, which it's a little unfortunate, but that's how it is. Plus, with the shortage of skilled workers, maybe that expectation of having multi skills have gone up because there is shortage of skilled workers, and the expectation is one person does more than one thing. Definitely keep learning, be a lifelong learner, just get certifications, just get free courses. There are so many things online that you can just do. A lot of companies even pay for continuing education as part of their benefits, so make use of that. Keep learning, that's what I would say, and then keep making that resume of yours stronger with all the education that you keep getting over the years. Oh, also, I want to add that it's a great brain exercise as we get older. So there you go. Phenomenal health benefits also to learning.
Yeah, your LinkedIn profile shows that you're a full time, or what I can say is a specialist in health division as well or health domain as well. That I have read that you did
Ye-
some nutrition type of hold a nutrition type of degree. I don't quite get it, but I'll read it that yeah, you have expertise in that as well. So you are definitely showing the skill that you need to be having multiple skills in order to be successful at least in one area.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Currently mentioned that you need to do multiple certifications. How important are the certifications versus expert experience?
Experience is definitely more important, but what I was trying to say is when you get a job, don't just get super comfortable, do that for, so many years, and you have not learned a new skill in those years. So getting certification is not important, but learning something new is important. Just to have that continuing education mindset all the time, and don't do because you're forced to do it. You should really want to learn new things. I think it is not a good idea to stay in a company for more than 5 years, especially if you're starting out new, because there are some companies that will just use the same technology, and technology is changing so quickly. It is good to move out, every 2 3 years, because you can then learn newer technologies or a different technologies, and that'll be really good for you. Certifications is not important for me, learning is more important.
If a candidate is having five certifications and no experience, and a different candidate comes up with 5 years of experience with zero certification, which one would you pick up?
I will definitely pick up the one with experience, because certain things that you learn while working, no program will ever teach that to you. These are experiences that you get from the day-to-day interactions that you have with your team, with your company. So for me, experience matters more versus fresher with just theory knowledge.
How is your day-to-day experience as a recruiting manager or a talent acquisition professional?
Are you asking how my day to day looks like?
Yeah.
So I right now I do have an India offshore team that I manage. I manage those recruiters there. I do talk to clients regularly to understand what their requirements are, what they're looking for. Then I assign it to my recruiters, and they do their sourcing and send candidates to me. They would have done initial screening, and then I talk to the candidates and do a little deep dive with them, understand, do they really know what they are portraying on their resume. Also try to understand a little bit of their behavior skills and find out they are really a good fit. And only if I think they are a good fit, then I go ahead and send their resume over to my clients. So that's my pretty much main responsibility. And other than that, I also do a lot of social media marketing for Estrobees, and then you know I'm on LinkedIn all the time doing things for Estrobees and trying to find candidates. Really, I do a lot of hands-on recruiting too, where I try and look for maybe passive candidates on LinkedIn. Yep, that's pretty much what I do 5 days a week.
Are you working remotely or are you in office with your colleagues? How is it?
Yeah, right now it is remote. Even our India team is working remotely from their homes, and even I am working remotely. But we are thinking of having an office in India soon where the recruiters can all sit together, because I do think that having an office and having that professional environment is really helpful, and is people are more productive in a office environment versus a home environment.
It's interesting that you can work remotely nowadays and still get the better productivity out of people. And people are now more active on LinkedIn. That's why the candidates are easy to scout and get the resumes or the profiles selected quickly. What is your process of selecting a profile or taking down a resume and understanding, okay, this guy or a woman is fit for the job?
Right. So for me, then resume is the first thing. It has to be a well written resume. And I mean, recruiters have to look at so many resumes. The volume of resumes sometimes they get is huge. So I think on an average, a recruiter must be spending what, like 8 seconds before deciding stash or trash. So candidates have to create a very impactful summary. For me, that is a really important, part of a resume. And this summary should have a snapshot of your skills, your accomplishments, and knowledge in like just three, 4 sentences, maybe. So that is really important. Based on that, we will go down, see rest of the resume. It can't be a 5+ page resume. That's like a big, like, I don't like that. Keep your resume like max 2 page long. And it should, like I mentioned, the summary should be your strongest professional selling points in it, with your 2 to 3 big achievements and 2 to 3 top skills. And then you mention your education, if you have any certifications and training, and then your work experience, any important day-to-day responsibilities and whatever you achieved while you were working there, short and sweet. Because if that is good, it has to be short. The next level would be a detailed interview. So save some of the good stuff when we talk. So resume is really important for me. Like I mentioned, LinkedIn is important. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, that goes a long way, because we can always cross check on, how this candidate has been professionally. Does this candidate have any recommendations? That, we love to see ex colleagues and managers recommend someone. So that is really helpful for us. And then even if you're a technical person and you have, if you've had like a portfolio link or a GitHub link, to show the work you've done, that is also very helpful. So I need to see like a good, well written resume, also an original format. I don't want to see, a copy paste format that I've seen like million other times. So I like to see original formatted resume and all these points for me to go ahead and reach out and talk to this person.
One of our audience who is listening to this podcast live, Deep Doshi, he is asking a question. Is higher education really necessary for better career, or should I only focus on gaining more experience and work on projects?
Higher education, it's good. Definitely it's good. Basic education is a must. Like, you have to be minimum a graduate in any field. That is, I mean, I know people who would not consider someone who's just like a high school graduate. So basic education is a must. Higher education is always good. Like, if I see a candidates with masters or, higher, like I know there are people with PhD degrees too. I will pick them over someone who's bachelor's. But if somebody that has better experience and just has plus degree, I will pick the person with the better experience. That is and then I have special soft spot for PhD. Even if they don't have corporate experience, the level of dedication they put to their work, that is enough for them to be like an expert wherever they go. So, but to coming back to your question, definitely experience is more important for me.
You were speaking about experience, and I asked you a question that if I work more on projects and focus less on my higher education, would it be enough to get a job in the top 5 companies such as Google, Amazon, Netflix, or someone like that?
Yes, yes, I think so. I think the experience, like I said, really matters. And say you've interned in a lot of places, right, as a fresher, those matter more than higher education, for sure, to answer your question correctly.
Okay, Deep, if you are listening now, I believe so Chetna has given you the right answer. If you have any more questions, kindly post it in the comments. We'll have a conversation on that as well. Moving on now with the podcast, how do you deliver a negative feedback to to a candidate?
I hate doing that, but I do. First of all, I start off with positive, aspects of the interview. I tell them that, I think, there were some things that they were really good that the client liked, but there were certain things that they think, you could have portrayed in a better way, or they are looking for certain things that you didn't have, but overall you were good. If you think you can, pick up on these things, we can try again late, after a few months or something. So I put a positive spin to it. I don't outright tell them that, sorry, it's hard no for you, because I do want, you know, candidates to leave with a pleasant experience with a client, because who knows, maybe this is not the right job for them right now, but maybe after a few years they would want to come back. So that is how I give negative feedback. It's like a constructive criticism that I give to them.
Is it about not burning the bridges? Is that thing what you're trying to say?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, because we are representing the candidate to the client, and we are representing the client to the candidate. So we have to, show both of them in a good light, no matter what. It works out or it doesn't. So, yep, like you said, don't burn bridges. I would put it that way.
A lot of candidates nowadays have mistakes that they come up with, such as being nervous during the interviews. What are the common signs that you have seen in a candidate when they are nervous?
See, they are one thing I have seen is do not exaggerate in your resume. Do not talk about skills that you don't have like deep expertise in, but just keep it real. If you are going to keep it real in your resume, you're going to confidently talk about it. If you don't have those skills and you put that in your resume, then obviously you're going to be nervous. I see that nervousness when, I talk about something, I ask them something, and they've just put that in their resume for the sake of it. Maybe, they don't have a knowledge in it, and then they fumble, and then that's when, once that happens, then everything kind of goes downhill. So my big advice is keep it real, and it's okay to say that, I don't know this, but you know what? I'm eager to learn it. And, just show to the interviewers that you can learn stuff, but it's okay to say, I don't.
The last part, can you go deeper on that? The one which you said, I'm eager to learn, show me how to do it.
Yep. It's human nature. Everybody doesn't know anything, and that's okay, because you're not a machine. You're just a human person. So it is a very human thing to say, I don't know. And it is, if you try to say that, things that you don't know, but try to show to the interview that I know it, and just give like a roundabout answer to it, just trying to prove your point. That's like a big, I know it's like, it's a big negative towards you. You have to be confident to say that, earlier too I didn't know certain things, but I went ahead and looked it up, learned things, talked to someone who is an expert, learned about it, and then today I know this. So I'm confident that if there is something that you want me to learn, I can learn it up quickly because I have done it previously. So that will give the confidence to your hiring manager that this person means what he says, he or she is saying, and that's that's a good sign. Like, they'll trust you more.
Dating manager trust is by saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that a summary of it?
I don't know for things you don't know, but if you also focus on things that you know. It has to be a combination. Like honesty is a best policy. That is, I stick by that, what we learned as kids. So, yep, I would say it is okay to say you don't know, but I'm happy to learn. I'm excited to learn and, show that excitement and enthusiasm to learn more. Explain the difference between Indian interviews to American interviews. I haven't attended an Indian interview. I mean, I have worked in India. I don't know what has changed. I did that like what 20 years back. I'm sure so much has changed since then. But I think in American interviews, people like, especially because these interviews happen on Zoom or video call, they want to see your skills well portrayed during that call. Like if it is a technical interview, everybody is pretty much doing like a hands on coding exercise on the spot. Maybe they didn't do that previously, and I don't know how it is in India, but there is that is pretty standard now in American interviews. Also, a panel interview is very common here, where after the hiring manager has liked someone, they bring the whole team in to speak to the candidate, and they care for everyone's opinion in their team while making a hiring decision. It's not just his or her decision to hire the candidate. So that is very common in the US, where it's a team decision, like to move forward or no with the client, because ultimately this candidate is going to be working with each one in the team. So it's a very nice collaborative way to make the hiring decision, I think, versus just one person making that call. I think that is the difference. I don't know how it is in India though.
One twist that we can put it over here is the question framed is Indian interviews versus American interviews. We can take it in a manner that Indian company interviews, such as the companies that are in India but hire talents globally, versus
Mhm.
the American companies that are hiring talents globally. How is their mentality, or how is their interview decisions different from the ones which are in India?
Or if they have to hire like offshore
Yeah,
people? Oh, okay. It depends on, I think it's the same format they follow no matter what, where the team is. There's no discrimination there. I don't think so. I think they expect the same level of expertise or dedication from a person being on site or offshore. It's the same kind of targets that they have to achieve. I don't think there is any discrimination there if you have to ask me personally. I hope that answered Pushka. Okay, thanks.
yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got it. Switching the gears here, Chetna,
Yeah,
teamwork versus solo. What is your take?
100% teamwork. Gone are the days of solo work. I think, yes, it doesn't matter which level, you could be a high level executive too, but nobody can work just by themselves. You need a trusting team to make the work successful.
Help more on that.
Especially now, I feel with people working remotely, it kind of becomes a little too isolated when you're, just stuck in your laptop and just working by yourself. But when you're part of a team, you're interacting with them, you're talking to them, you're brainstorming, you're sharing ideas. That not only helps the specific work at hand, but also there is a social aspect to it. You're talking, you're laughing, you're discussing. You may be, it may not be all work, it may be just some chit chat or whatever. It helps the brain, it gives you that, relieves you of that mental stress too when you're talking to people and discussing and working as a part of a team. So that is why I think teamwork is important. But also, like I mentioned earlier, everyone doesn't know everything, and it's okay. You have to sometimes, if you're in senior management, you have to delegate stuff. Maybe your junior will know something more, then you maybe you did know at some point and you moved on. So it is very important to collaborate for more productive results.
Team helps more productivity and lowers the stress and increases the fun.
Yes.
Is that a one phrase summary of it?
Yes, I would put it that way. Yes.
Personally, you want to take a remote working versus on-premise working. Which would you pick?
In the US, hybrid work culture is becoming very popular right now. That is a good balance where you work remotely maybe 2 or 3 days and then go to office maybe 2 or 3 days, pick whatever works. That is really important. Well, there are really a lot of benefits to working remotely, but like I said, people are human beings are very, social creatures. They need like to interact one on one with others. So the hybrid model, I think, is a really good model that US is, following now, and it will get the best out of people.
Hybrid model, got it. The
Yeah,
question that Pushkar has asked,
yeah. So push, it depends if you're in like a technology company, which is, it's all evolving very quickly and there are technologies that they're using, then it is good to stay with them 5 to 6 years, maybe move up in the chain and then find your right job. But if the moment you feel like, okay, I've been here 2 3 years and it's like kind of stagnating now, you're not growing, you're not learning anything, you feel that sense of stagnation, then I would say you should move up. So there's no fixed number of years that I can say. I would put it that way, that the moment you feel you're not growing and you'd be better off somewhere else, just take that make that call and move out. I hope that answered your question, Pushkar.
yeah, Pushkar has got his answer, and your explanation provided a crisp answer to that as well. That if you're stagnating, if you're not growing, yet you're having fun, then your time has come, and you have to change and move out and explore something more into your life.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, the most dreaded question of all time: advice on negotiating salary.
Like, for the candidate, you're saying, right? How do they
Yeah,
negotiate? Okay. Very good question. It's not a dreaded question. We all do it for money. So it's a very important question, I would say. First of all, do your market research. There are, if you go online and look for, what is the market salary for so and so skill set in the market for this, for your specific area, given, the standard of living of that specific city. Find out that, do your research. I'm sure there's a lot of data out there that you can pull up. Put the latest year so that you can have an accurate number. And then Glassdoor. I love Glassdoor for that, where you get an idea of what the company pays for someone with that level or that skill. That will also give you a very good idea of salary. And then once you are armed with this information, then you're going to talk to the recruiter. You should always find out from them what the company is offering. You'll know if they are right on point or are they under offering or over offering. You'll get an idea of that, right? So you'll have that information from the recruiter too. And then when it comes, suppose you got the job, you should still not stop negotiating. If you think, it's maybe lower than market, then negotiate for a higher salary. And there's nothing wrong in negotiating after, once a verbal offer is done, if you think that this is not the right one for you. And at that point, because everybody has gone through the process, they will be happy to negotiate with you because they know that you're a good candidate for this role. They would negotiate with you. And also people have to negotiate a good salary at the beginning because it's sometimes you're stuck with that for a long time, and then there is some companies do have appraisals and performance reviews, and may or may not get a hike depending on how you perform. But it's really important that you're happy with what you're getting offered. So don't settle for less, I would say. Do all the research based on your skills, based on what market pays, based on what this company can afford. Just go with a salary that will really keep you motivated and happy to take this job up. So yeah, great question.
People nowadays are taking one step back in negotiating a salary. If you might have listened to candidates who are just starting out, they are mostly filled with fear that, okay, if I ask for more, will I get this job or not? How do you tackle that, or what mindset can you give them to overcome this scenario?
So that is why I said do your research, find out how much companies are paying for someone who is a fresh, same level as them. And then based on that you should and the education also matters. I think if somebody has a higher education, they may qualify to slightly more salary. So do your research and be confident about what you're demanding for. Be confident about that. If somebody is really offering much below, then say no, it's okay, because there are a ton of companies who will you know offer the market salary. So wait for that opportunity. Don't be nervous. Like I said, if you know that this for a fresher, this is a market salary, stick to that. Do not be afraid to ask minimum. This is the salary that everyone else is getting paid. You can even say that, oh, my friend who recently got a job here, and this is what he got paid, or I have an idea of this maybe the pay for him, so I would also like to stick to that. So don't be afraid to stick to what you deserve.
Your research in one line is
Yeah.
the
Yep.
simple as that.
Right.
I would like to put one more thought into this process, that if you are having to search for a job, then you better ask the people who have already got the job. They will give you the right guidance. Yeah, you can read reviews, cultures, yet the person who is already doing that job will be able to get you more precise answer.
Yes, absolutely.
I would take one more question and that's it. But you emphasize more on, you pressed hard on the culture part. Can you go deeper on that?
Like the culture fit, right? Like I said, multi skills, that is important. And also personality, a person's, how this person is going to be a team player. Will he gel with other people in the team? So that's why the behavior interview is important for me. If this person is someone who introvert, who is shy, who's not someone who likes to work solo, and it's going to, I shouldn't say he or she, then maybe he's not a right fit for that company. So it's really, I mean, like I said, recruiting has changed a lot. Everybody wants a well-rounded person, not just someone who's a subject level expert in a specific area, but someone who can be a good team player. So so that's why that is become an important part of recruiting. So make sure, so as a fresher, right, I can give some tips for freshers. If you're in the job market and you don't have experience, but what you can do is, especially Gen Zs, right, who are living a lot in this virtual world, and it's no fault of theirs, it's just how this generation is evolving. Social skills may be a little lacking because you're in the social world so much and you're not like actually talking to people. So what I'd say is you can do things like volunteering, voluntary work, community service, mentoring or tutoring juniors, do a part-time, gig somewhere. You will learn like valuable skills in the process that would really showcase your complete personality in an interview, and I think that will go a long way.
Interesting, interesting that people are lacking communication skills and not technical skills nowadays.
Yes. And like I said, it's no fault of theirs, it's just how everything is evolving. Like, being everybody is on in their virtual world so much that there's just going into a shell personality point of view. But they're very good in chatting and texting and, all the latest stuff. But then when it comes to picking up a phone and talking to someone, young people need to work on that a little bit.
I have an interesting question that I'm meaning to ask,
Hmm.
but is that should a candidate pick a job or should a candidate pick a career or as in role? Which one should they pick and why?
Like, okay, are you saying that they should pick a job that is in their area and they want to expand into a career, or just any job that comes their way? Is that your question?
Yeah, that is my question. I'll simplify that. If assuming that a candidate receives a job from Google,
Hmm.
yet that job is not what he or she wants, yet it is from Google. It's a prestigious job, right?
Right.
So if that candidate says yes to that job, is that the right approach or is that the wrong approach?
It's kind of tricky. If it is a company like Google, definitely say yes. The exposure you will get just because you've worked in Google, just to understand that environment, it will be like an amazing experience. So I would say if you're just starting out, you're getting some kind of internship in Google, still stick to something that is related to your area instead of going like way out of your career focus area. But I would say that still try to pick the area of your expertise. So like you said, career part is important, and then if you have joined a company just for the heck of it, see how it goes. No, any exposure, any experience is always good. You always come out of it learning something new out of from that experience. And then if you feel that this is not the right you know job for you, just move out and then focus on your career and what your long term goals are. Focus on that. Try to find which companies are hiring for your skills in that area, and then just go for look for jobs there. You'll have to, like, job searching is a big job in itself. You have to put in the work. You have to research. People are not going to come to you and hand it over to you. You have to do your research, look for what is my dream job, which is a dream key company that I want to go work for. Find out who's a recruiter for that, reach out to that person on LinkedIn maybe several times, be persistent. And it's a lot of work, but you have to put in if you want the results that you desire.
What are your go-to options in terms of website or social media apps for recruiting a candidate?
LinkedIn is good for me to find passive candidates, people who already have jobs but are still interested to see what you have, and they might think about moving depending on how excited they feel about it. So, LinkedIn is good for passive recruiting. I do use Dice for technical jobs, and I do use Indeed, and our jobs get posted in Career Builder and ZipRecruiter. So many platforms I use to find candidates. But I'm also exploring GitHub as a way to find candidates. So that's something new that I might be looking into more recently, especially because it's the job market has become so tight for skilled candidates.
Dice. Dice, is that right?
Yes,
Is that a site or a app or something?
it's a job board site, so candidates can apply. Candidates can put their profile on Dice, and as employers, we can go and find them on Dice. It's an active job board.
That's a new platform that I have come to know.
I don't know if it is available in India, but in US, it's like very popular. One of the popular, most popular ones for many years now.
I will wrap up, Chetna. What's your one simple advice that you would give to any candidate?
One simple advice: make a short, impactful original resume of yours. Be persistent in following up with recruiters. Be respectful of their time. Ask for advice. Don't stop learning. Also, one thing people have stopped doing that once they've had done it. It's very nice to send a thank you note to recruiters, hiring managers, to anyone you have met with during the process, because when you do that, people already envision you as being someone who can be a part of their team. So that's a very key thing that you should do once you've done with the interview process. So just be positive, just keep trying, keep learning, don't give up, and you know right things will happen to you in the career at the right time.
I have a lot of questions that I want to ask you, but I I will keep that thing for the next part. I'll
Sure.
I'll be joy to bring you back as a guest if you are available at any time.
Yes,
But that's
absolutely.
it for today. That's
Yep.
it for today. Any last parting notes that you want to give, Chetna?
No, thank you, Sundraman, for this opportunity. I really enjoyed talking about recruiting, sharing my ideas. I mean, I really love what I do. So I'm happy to help, anyone, any of your listeners, or anyone, who can do better in their job search, or, any career advice they need. I'm happy to share it with them at any time.
The biggest lesson that you can learn over here is have a short, simple summary. Second is say I don't know more to your manager to tell that I am eager to learn more. Finally, send a thank you note to the job interviewer to show that you are a culture fit for the company. These are the three key takeaways that I can give you to learn and move faster to get job. I have dropped the link of Chetna's LinkedIn profile in the description below. Go connect with her. The podcast is live on Spotify as well. You can check it out over there as well. That's it from my end. I'll see you around.